Team Trump sees Elon Musk's wallet and vast resources as the best way to bully and browbeat Republicans into submission.
And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world.
Elon and Vivek talked about having a naughty list and a nice list.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Elon Musk is the magic wallet for Trump, but it didn't have to be that way. See, the Democrats scared him off because of their oppressive intolerance to him and to other outliers like him. They did this to themselves, and they thought they would just own everyone forever. And boy, are they wrong. Welcome to John Mike Keene. Let's celebrate the Democrats mourning their loss.
It's not so secret weapon in spending one's way out of the Democratic experiment and towards something much more closely resembling an oligarchy. The world's richest man is now lending his massive resources to turbocharge the pressure campaign to confirm Donald Trump's top cabinet nominees: Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, RFK Jr., and more, all of whom face very legitimate questions about their basic competence and fitness.
Did she say this looks like an oligarchy? Because Elon Musk is spending money on Trump and now is backing up Trump's appointments and saying any senator that doesn't consent and approve his appointments, Elon Musk will personally fund their primary opponent against them and take them out in 2026. They never said it was an oligarchy when George Soros was giving billions of dollars to Democrats for 20 years, including putting corrupt AGs in every blue state, certainly. He's the one who funded Alvin Bragg, as George Soros funded Fani Willis. There's a lot of footprints everywhere on these corrupt AGs to go after other lawmakers. It wasn't an oligarchy when that happened. It wasn't an oligarchy back when Mark Zuckerberg in 2020 put $400 million into swing states to pick his preferred adjudicators, fund drop boxes in only Democrat areas. So why is it suddenly a big threat? They're just mad that the money is not 100% on the left. Where's the oligarchy on Kamala Harris spent $2 billion. Trump only spent $500 million, 1/4 of what the Democrats spent. Who exactly is using money to fund their campaign? It's the Democrats.
There's brand new reporting in the New York Times today that reveals that, quote, a dark money conservative group that Musk has used for political spending ran digital ads in Iowa calling on people to urge Senator Ernst to vote for Mr. Hegseth. In fact, Team Trump sees Elon Musk's wallet and vast resources as the best way to bully and browbeat Republicans into submission. One Trump advisor telling ABC's John Carl last month this, quote, if you're on the wrong side of the vote, you're buying yourself a primary. That is all the advisor told John Carl. And there's a guy named Elon Musk who's going to finance it. The president gets to decide his cabinet and no one else, the advisor adds. The problem is this. It's simply not how the Constitution says it works. The Senate has a constitutionally mandated role. It's called advice and consent. It's in Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. What Team Trump is asking is to force the Senate, in particular the incoming Republican majority, to simply abdicate that role and make Trump a king, to surrender their constitutionally mandated job and obligation in vetting nominees. Many Republicans, I'm sure, will be more than happy to hand over their oversight role to the world's richest man.
They're not handing it over to the world's richest man. That's a lie. It's simply, if you don't agree with the president, then Elon Musk, a private citizen, also has the constitutional right to fund your opposition in the next campaign, in the next election. That's all. They're both exactly as constitutional. You don't have to like it. None of us have to like money in politics. But the idea that now they're going to suddenly start complaining about it when all politics are bought and sold People are primaried. People are pressured. There's giant lobbyists funding opposition to Trump that probably outspend what Elon spends altogether. So don't give me this. You don't want any influence of money out of politics when they have a Project Blue right now. We're giving those micro donations across all these states, funded by George Soros. You don't care. Here's Van Jones admitting Trump is a genius.
Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
The popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime. And we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary people.
You're totally right.
It's about time. These are Democrats that are learning. I like seeing Van Jones and Chris Cillizza coming around to Trump being a genius. They're saying by whatever standard you're going to use, at the very least, if you're in politics, you're supposed to win elections. That's always been the criteria that I thought was the most relevant one to politics, is winning, because you can't do anything without winning. You don't get to participate in government if you don't win. So you can be pure, you can be perfect, you can be amazing, you can be holy. And if you don't win, you don't go cast your vote in the Senate, in the House, as president. You don't get to have a say in our politics. So if you want to get into politics, you got to win. Trump won. Trump won across the board by every standard. He has a mandate. He has all of the joy and excitement behind him. At least part of that joy and excitement is because the Democrats ruined the country so much that people were dying for help. And now there's hope for the first time, going, we need someone who's a kind of a ball breaker, someone who's going to break some furniture, because the corruption is institutionalized in our government. Trump is the best news for America probably in my lifetime, probably since Ronald Reagan.
Over on the House side, here's Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene last week.
Elon and Vivek talked about having a naughty list and a nice list for members of Congress and senators, and how we vote and how we're spending the American people's money. I think that would be fantastic.
So that's her view on all this. But what Republicans, especially Senate Republicans, decide to do with their constitutional duty and authority is about much more than their personal fears of retribution or their political ambitions for the future.
I love watching MSNBC. It's like she went to a funeral as she's realizing how politics work for the first time. I really doubt it. I really doubt that she suddenly is into advise and consent of the House and Senate to not pass Trump's appointees. Where was she at when all of the Democrats gave a rubber stamp to everyone that Biden appointed or everyone that Barack Obama appointed? They all got rubber stamped. And by the way, a whole lot of Republicans went along with it and just said, look, we're supposed to give our advise and consent, but we're supposed to pass these people because the president has a mandate. No one has a bigger mandate than Trump. No one has more votes than Trump and more support. She's just upset that this time we won. She does not believe in advise and consent any more than she did before. She's just angry that this time the Republicans are getting some pressure to actually support Trump instead of opposing him.
Trump and Musk are trying to kneecap really the only remaining check on Donald Trump's complete control over the federal government. And it isn't about nominees who are too Republican or too conservative or too ideological. Many of Trump's nominees are radical choices to lead their departments, and they hail from all corners of the ideological spectrum. New York Times reports this, quote, many of his would-be nominees have fiercely criticized the very agencies they're seeking to helm. Some of the claims they have leveled are faulty to start. These nominees also should face basic questions of whether they're up to the job.
Yes, keep asking those questions. Are they up for the job? We're going to find out because they're all going through. They're all going to be appointed. That's your role, to advise and consent. Give your advice and then give your consent. Trump's going to save us. Elon Musk is going to pay for it. His appointments are going to change every one of these agencies. It's going to be great. I'm John Mike Keane.